It works. I'm not sure. It works. Huh? What did you say? Okay. And today is Saturday. I think it's in Belgium a little bit problem, internet. Sorry to disturb to you. And also interrupted all of us. It's quite very difficult to continue, but we can do our best. But anyway, I'm talking about the different type of the realms. Today it's like we are continue to research the human existence. In your hand is better to sit like this. Not touch. You touch, then it's sometimes interrupt this. And better to little move from your computers. Okay. And in our human existence, in our human realms, they said it's like three type of fundamental sufferings, and the four streams sufferings. It's like a suffering of the birth, suffering of the old age, suffering of the sickness, and suffering of the death. And this is like a basic, difficult to avoid. Everybody needs to go through this. It doesn't matter you are royal family, or rich, or you are beautiful, handsome, poor, child, or ugly, or any kind of persons. And that is like kind of course, it is not only our human beings, but this kind of the four streams sufferings are the defect to all the sentient beings. And today specifically, we are going to explore and how it is the old age situation. And we call the old age suffering. And one in the hand, we say, why it is suffering? Because kind of we can get new body, new faculties, new kind of phase, and new experience. Of course, if our mind is very happy, mind is accept that, and then it's okay, no problem. But it's like a very much unacceptable by the mind. Mind is, when we analyze our mind wanted to keep young, fresh, healthy. And then it's like old age is like a type of the suffering. Then now we are go through this, okay? And it says that as we busy ourselves, your hand is maybe better to stop. Really, this making problems. And ourselves with this inconsequential and ever unfinished worldly tasks. Here is a little bit talking about our daily activities. Maybe we need to a little bit to analyze our daily activities. In our life, there is so many tasks, worldly tasks. This worldly task, it says, the ever unfinished, ever, almost, that is the truth. And then we can to look at these worldly tasks, the consequent, or the result. Not very much good. Therefore, he used the inconsequential. And finally, already yesterday we analyzed all our activities, or our kind of tasks, very much related to the negative activities. Any kind of type of the activities. And therefore we can to say is the inconsequential. Busy, whole life, we are living in they say it's a hustle and bustle. Or sometimes they say it's like living, or all the times we be like raising rats. Rats is like very much to run, to collect roots. But they cannot eat, finally. They take whatever you collect, the root of the grass, or sometimes lost their water, or some birds, or some animals. All collect, they cannot use, they lose life. Then the consequential is inconsequential. And like this, the word task, of course we need some necessary in order to survive until we die. But of course there are some, it's things do more and more, we need to more. Then we have more greeding, clinging, attachment, and also inner our mind is dissatisfaction. It's a more increase. Then it's they never have the a kind of the contentment. And this kind of worldly task, the suffering of the old age, creep up on us unnoticed. This is the truth. It is kind of we are, sometimes life is a pigeon. And also sometimes we say it's like a horse. And the pigeons during the night, it's very difficult to properly to sleep sometimes. Whole night pigeons to organize the nest and to this and that. Then it's kind of to become quiet like this already in the morning. Every other birds flying, they cannot sleep. They need to fly like this. And horse is in the night to need to kind of the enthusiastic to sleep, to really to be to be on the ground. And then it's try to round. It's very difficult. When they start sleep, almost in the morning, make a joke like this. We follow up the worldly task. We never concern our age, old age. And busy. Certainly says, I think it's enough. And maybe I need to rest, and maybe I make a little bit to enjoy my life. Already old age. We already see maybe more common explanation. Body strength is lost. Limb, legs, arms is a pain. And stomach is a strength is lost. Whatever we eat, all the time problems. Eyes difficult to see. Ear difficult to hear. Of course, when we go outside, in the holiday, go to in the seaside, go to in the pub, and like kind of club. Of course, there's young people, they enjoy it. We have feeling we want to go in the middle to enjoy with them. But when we go in the middle of the like youngs, they are very look at our strange way, and they are very much uncomfortable. If we ask, can we enjoy it? Okay, they don't like old people coming in the middle of the youngs. They hate it. They are not very happy, like same as we are. When you are young, some old people coming close to you. You see why? He or she go to in his own age areas. And like this, but mind is very much want to be with the youngs, but very sorry, but old age to put away from the group of the young. And then it's like this, this very, very funny things. And sometimes this kind of the really situation. I met one guy, and he said this, when I born in this place, I worked there many years, and then it's like, now I want to be retired, because it's like a kind of, it's already need to be pension or the retired. And then he said this, now I'm retired, it's a kind of, I have enough money, and also it's like I have family, but children's already grow up, and my wife is already old, and then it's we are every day become very boring. Why? And we are searching something to job, to do something. Okay, we can't work in the at home, too busy to work with the gardening, cleaning, and also to the wives preparing the food, waiting for the children's. Children's never calling. Children's also already gone. We are feeling like kind of the children's come back to stay there. Maybe it's a go to look the children's rooms. They are gone. They are kind of all the sleep bag, bed already tidy up. And we can call to them, say, are you coming? Say, oh, next month, or maybe next years. And then it's like, what can we do? And then we go to our site, we kind of support it, but our knees is a problem, our eyes problem, and it's not very much a test. Okay. We are run after the kind of the job to collect money. We enough money, but even we can to make delicious food, but not very much appetite. And when we eat something a little bit, we need to be very much careful. Of course, we have sometimes inside the problems. And then there's not much test now. But, okay, we are at home. It's truth like this. Then he says like, I don't know how I'm become like this. When I was young, strong, and it's like children's at home, they are young. When I go back, of course sometimes wife or children complain, says like, you are all the time working a little bit, would you like to spend family? I say, yes, but I need to work. And very much busy, not very much spend with children, families. And then certainly I want to spend, but I'm already old, children's grow up gone. This is also kind of different experience, how it's like as a creeps up on the old age. We are not kind of the unnoticed like this. And then is the some in the certain age, how it has happened. Little by little, step by step. And then the body lost. It's like kind of the vigor, strength. It's true. And I make joke myself. When I was, it's like maybe in your age, okay? I came to carrying is quite strong. In the village times, we are competitions to like too hard like carrying so heavy. Maybe sometimes there's 100 kilos, and also they choose me. I went, but 1 year ago I tried maybe 20-30 kilos. It's a very difficult. I don't believe to myself like this kind of body strength. I'm really kind of the seriously talking. And also it's like when I was young, I came to run quite fast, and I came to climb in the mountain. It's quite strong. And 1 or 2 years ago in Dharma City Noble Sanghas, I attended to them. We went in the lake. I analyze, and one student we kind of playing, and I run after, and just a little bit run and fell down, and I hurt my leg. And then I thought, now this is the old age. Easily my kind of this knee is very, very dangerous. It's there all the times needed to taking care. Like this is like the vigorous. It's a strength. Everything is losing. This is like kind of the old age, the result. We can no longer and kind of the digest the food that we like. Absolutely is the truth. Many old people, very, very difficult. When they want to eat something, sometimes it doesn't go out, and few days they need to keep. And also sometimes it's like kind of the, dirty is going out, very difficult. Tidy up or die up. Maybe it's like make a joke, okay? This is a very ugly thing. It's situation. Some most old people, it's like kind of in the stomach. Sometimes it's true fire, and like kind of all the inside digestion's not very good. It's like kind of the burn and dirty things too hard, and it's like kind of the interest broken, and they are suffering. Sometimes it's like you are, maybe it's a little bit kind of the cool, too weak, and then there's something problems. All the time there's diaries. And therefore, the digest is not a very good situation. When we're young, whatever we want, we can eat, enjoy, like this kind of also strength lose. This is the result of the old age. We should to think. Why we need to think like this? Maybe you are not yet this situation, but someone has these situations. We need to compassion to them. Maybe in your families, your grandparents, maybe they are already experiencing right now. And if you have compassion, you more take care to them, to more like make a food according what they need. Maybe not hard, not kind of the spired, kind of the, if for example, if you are very good children, if you are very good grandchildren, or maybe you are very good, you're taking care of your grandparents, wonderful. Maybe if you have friend of your like old people or other old, it's like we are talking about the human beings, but any kind of sentient beings, old age is quite very difficult. And then it's like our eyesight dimness. It is very much truth. It's like sometimes I'm shocked. Some our noble sanghas, like maybe I met them someone maybe 20 years, maybe 15 years. When I first time met them, they don't need, of course, glass. They are reading. But few years, sometimes they can't reading, and they lost glasses. They're holding the paper, but where's my glasses? And no glass, they cannot read. Then I say, what happened without glass? Are you changed like that fast? Then it's to return to myself. It's amazing, when I become like 48, 9, 50 years old, and something my eyes are wrong. And it's like kind of the dim, very difficult. Sometimes when I look the letters, it's a double, and also like there's a foggy. And then I thought, I was in Japan, and Masha, we went to in the how do you call the glasses obstacle shop. I don't know, obstacles, like doesn't matter, and glasses shop, and we asked to them, can you check my eyes? We want to order glasses. And then, yes, because I have diabetic, I have problem in my eyes. And then the daughter is very kind, funny, and he checked everything. I think you are not kind of according to the diabetic. Your eye is quite very good, but sorry, but you need reading glasses. I said, why? I hope you are young, but that is a result of the old age. I was very much shocked, but I didn't notice. This kind of, surely, for example, now is without glasses, even like kind of the keyboards, is almost impossible. For example, this letter you can't read. If here is almost impossible, I can't read. But then it's like, if I'm expected to getting better my eye, then it's just useless. Going to worse and worse. Of course, it's just temporarily I can to use some eye drop like this. But not only me. This is like kind of the old age, it's a result. And this is kind of the eyesight damp is like this. What can we do? This is the old age. And also we can no longer make out the smell or the distant object like clearly. And it's like we small things, not smell, small things. And it's absolutely, it's very difficult. Now it's like old age's eyes is very, very kind of funny. It's like you can too far sometimes quite clearly to see, but near is a very complicated. But anyway, it's like slowly, it's like difficult to see the far or the near. That is a kind of old age's result. And this, of course, we don't want. No Buddhists doesn't want. Everybody wants to keep the really like a wonderful eye, and it's like very clearly to see. Now it's like I'm telling to my own experience. For example, someone's reading very tiny letter, and also to the book reading like this. When I say, how you can't read? They are reading, so they're a little bit jealous, Can I read like this? Impossible. I need to look at the like double glasses. And like this, also our hearing started to fail, and it's very difficult. These old people sometimes say, what do you say? Like this. And this is like kind of the ear faculties is like kind of more, inside the ear drum. It's like become the old, very difficult to sound is coming inside. We can no longer distinguish sound, very difficult. Speech, not correctly. Sorry, there's no coronavirus. Okay, it's a Dharma, that is okay. Like what you say, if I'm saying some old, okay, it's the same as like me. Are you a shut-upism, or how are you? Then, oh, very good. Then it's a reality, I'm saying shut-upism. And you don't know what this person to say. And in my village, there is one old guy. One person says, hey, Aru, hey. The person says, yes. Would you like yoku? Said, oh, no, thank you. I don't need tea. Said. And this kind of, it's a kind of very difficult to have the distinguish, like the sound. What is they say, speech correctly. And our tongue and no longer taste. what we eat or we drink, it's not very much. Normally our tongue has the organ is in this both side, and then it has become more and more old. Almost it is like not much taste. Of course, stomach to say eat, drink. Then they try to eat, they try to drink. No actual, like articulated properly what we want to say. Articulated, and yesterday I said it's like someone's. There's a very nice guy, and his name is Joel Freezer. And says, I said, how are you? Said, I couldn't say properly. How are you? Like this kind of, when I say something, it's near the Dharma city, in the Noble Sangha, they are young. When I say something, they are laughing. Ha 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 ha. What is it? I'm speaking in English. Said, oh, your English is, there's really, it's like nothing they articulate. When they say it's very precise, and the sound is like how do you say it? Intonation, or like kind of what you go to the wave of the two sentences. How are you? I cannot to say, would you like to eat hamburgers? I said, I don't eat hamburgers. Like this kind of, sometimes, because I don't want to say like this, but old people's tongue organ is a kind of problems. And therefore, it's very difficult properly what we want to say. That is like kind of the old age. And the articulate is a very, very wonderful word. Articulate this. And as our like mental faculties weak, and our memory fails us, we are lap into confusion and forgetfulness. Absolutely, like slowly, kind of our mentally faculty is weak and difficult to remember. Absolutely. I'm like now, it's like sometimes I'm concerning. When I was young, something to need to memorize, quite easy. Even the one is like sentences, okay, I can to repeat maybe few times. I can't, but these days, just one verse, like same as the Dharma City Sanghas. The 3 verses, during 3 months, they couldn't memorize. You know the praise, Sanchya Nepa Chenyepa, still they are learning. I'm become and like this is memory is become, then it's very difficult and also very much forgetful, and it's like very difficult to like kind of keep into our mind. This is like kind of the result of the old age, and unpleasant, but old age is occurring. What can we do? Our teeth fell out. Absolutely, we try to every day wash, clean them, easily to lose like kind of our teeth. So we can no longer chew solid food. Absolutely, we can to look, many old people, they lose the teeth. Sometimes we put artificial teeth, and artificial teeth to chew the food is not very delicious. And like this kind of the result of the old age, we should to think. Whatever we say becomes like a kind of the unintelligible. How do you say this? Intelligible. Okay, unintelligible. Intelligible, unintelligible. I think like this. Okay, anyway, it's like you have your own this, how do you say it, pronunciation? There is sometimes it's very difficult those pronunciations. Well, and don't touch the computer, okay? I'm coming soon.
Unintelligible.
Yes, unintelligible. And it's like kind of the mumble. And it's like whatever you say, it is like a kind of the one is your teeth is gone, and then it's like whatever you say is a very strange way.
Unintelligible.
In English, understand. Boo. But anyway, it's like a mumble. It's like kind of the everything is very unclearly and very much. How do we say, it's like mixed up, because it's like tongue is problems, teeth is problems, and like this kind of many old age people like this. And also our body lost like a kind of the heat, and we no longer, how do you say, it's like longer feel warm in light clothing. And it is also truth, sometimes the old age has such a kind of the sufferings, and the heat of the bodies go away, and then it's like there's not much heat, and then it's like they need like a double sleep bag. Also it's like a body, the how do you call the vigor, or the vigor is strength is lost. It's a very difficult, very heavy, but still it's like not much warm. But of course these days, if you are kind, you can give your parents a very light, warm sleep bag. Then sometimes they have, old people has like this. Even the I can to say my own experience, I have like this. All the feet and the arms is like easily to become the cold, become very much sensitive body, and like this. And also our like the strength decline, and we can no longer carry anything, heavy things, and like kind of the even the sleepy bag. And in like some poor countries, of course, there's not much good sleep bag. Then old people is like not much heat, and then they like kind of the wearing very heavy things, but it's very difficult, not much strength. I mean, this kind of the like a very wonderful to tell into situations. For example, when you're in situation, you're young, and some old people complain to you. Maybe you don't believe. You say, I don't understand. They are very difficult old people. It is a truth, old people's problems, but they have sufferings according to the old age. Although we still have a taste for the pleasure and the enjoyment, we no longer have the energies. Also like this, inner mind is want to taste like the taste or smells and touch, everything, the pleasures they wanted. Very much have the desire, attachment inside. But of course, it's like organs and faculties is like collapsed, and they cannot do any more. Like then it's like a very, very much suffering. As our channels and energies, and like kind of the degenerated, we become the like irritable and impatient. And sometimes it's like it is the truth. Energy, like a kind of the channel in the body, sometimes weak, and like a kind of the liquid or the coronal, the kind of sickness. You can't say it's like this or that part sick, but generally very much lose energy, easily become tired. And then is some people so drink coffee, smoke in order to get strength. And then is this kind of situations become very much irritable, means it's very much sensitive, and it's like impatient. Whatever you say is immediately angry, sad, crying, because this kind of situations occurring, and scorned by the all, scorn, and like kind of insult. It's a truth. It is like once I was in Tibet, and our project was so-called Sondopari project, and my young two brothers, we are meeting, talking, and my father was there. It's like first we didn't talk much, he just listened, and certainly I realized that he's feeling maybe it's now I'm old, I'm not in this size, maybe I can't do say this good, that good, we do like this. Because of course when he was young, his boss, he decided. And then it's like a little bit kind of tears almost came my eyes. And then afterwards, all the times I invited my father, what do you think? Can you tell to ours? He's very happy. He gives suggestion, let's do like this. It's wicked to look sometimes you families. Sometimes it's like, for example, your grandparents, maybe 60 years, 70 years. Some grandparents is very active. Some grandparents is like very simple, quiet. Then it's children's ignored. Then they need to do something. They never ask to the grandparents. Grandparents is become like a child, For example, when we was like 2, 3, or 8, 9, 10 years old, they like a father, parents, or others, they never ask to us. Why they need children to study very well, eat, to sleep. Sometimes I was there times like kind of sad. I want to go to in the middle of the meeting. Why not? I want to listen like this. But anyway, two old people have this kind of the feelings, and they want to be in the middle to talk. But good children, good families, they all the time ask, how about our grandparents? They are all the time ask, what do you think? Do you have some advice? Do you have some, they like suggestions? But some is a very strange families, forget it. Maybe it's our grandfather, mothers all the time, chep. Maybe better to them. Then in meeting times, they say this and that. Maybe we don't need to talk. This is not very good. And like also, they want to be in the pleasure. They want to be enjoyed, to be there. And anyway, it's like we are scorned by like others, even the families. They are like almost they not count in the like kind of the family situation. Okay, maybe it's some good children say, hey, give nice tea to grandparents, or nice like kind of food, nice cloth. Okay, recite the mantra, sit there. And in the meeting times comes, why you are coming? Go home, rest. And don't need to take responsibilities. For example, sometimes old people, if you give responsibility, oh, you doing good, well, maybe let's do, and to come, you give some job. They are very, very happy. And you work together, they're very happy. But if we are like scorned to them, and to say it's like sometimes in Tibet, I heard many times, and some good children, they give nice clothes, nice food, and nice tea all the time. But grandparents cannot give suggestions any at all. And if they say, shut up, mommy, daddy, go to there, recite money. And then it's like grandparents, when they hear, they want to say something, but they say suggestions, they don't want to hear about that. They go, no, not like this. I want to have that. But they cannot go in the middle of the family's meeting or chatting and like this. This is scorn. It's like then become the depressed and very much sad. This is like kind of slowly is going out of the like a kind of how do you say in the societies. In Tibet there is one song to says human beings become old and like kind of the shaking and like kind of in the between in the like and the doors and then is the sweet stick sometimes weather's good going out and the from the door if luckily there's one chair and sitting and then it's only like a need to drink something they're going to like kind of the band into the like a house that is the joke inside out in out in out and then it's like they in the mind very much depressed, very much sad, and then it's like not very good families. They not very much care, and particularly sometimes in our Europe, and the children's need to taking care. Before I have a neighborhood one in Brussels, and one day the wife is died, and then the husband is like sitting on the window and watching all the times television, and then there's like I don't know he's something is inside how he can to manage to when he sometimes coming out and very like almost a true stick and then is going and then he has few children maybe 1 month they're coming to see once and that is also luckily 1 month wants to coming to see. But if there is something night, and then they kind of they need some food, sometimes he's carrying back, go to near shop, he's small to buy things. I think he has a lot of money, surely, no problem, pension. But it's like this old age sufferings. But of course he's very much depressed, sad, and children's coming once, and I don't know which kind of children's. When they come back, maybe they're not very well clean. Maybe they like kind of give a lot of order to say, like, hey, you should do clean, you do like this and that. Then I will come back to next month. For those like kind of the parents is waiting, maybe every day is coming nothing. Maybe they are expecting each house to need to visit every day, every week, every month. But of course, for the children's perspective, their own family, their own job, their own need task to do. But old like kind of the aged people have very much depressed, sadly, stay like kind of lonely in the home. And then it's like but old age attacked. Old age is occurring. What they can do? They cannot do nothing thinking about the next life. Like this, the Buddhist element get out of balance. Absolutely this kind of occurring. Like bringing a host of illness and the problems. And of course it's like inside the element. Our body is compounded. And our human bodies, a human being's body, of course, any kind of things are the compounded. Included our body is compounded like by the element, water, earth, so on. And also it's like the 5 aggregates it's like to build up our body. Sometimes inside this element is not like kind of balance. Maybe sometimes water is high, maybe sometimes air is high, sometimes it's like maybe earth is low, and then this kind of unbalanced, and there are a lot of problems like kind of sometimes hot like kind of very strange illness, and a lot of occurring. And but what can we do? Of course, we are eating medicine, and I may also make the joke. and our sanghas and say, oh, you have diabetic, you should to care, then it's getting better. And someone says, how are you? Say, oh, I'm okay. I'm expecting, it's like, oh, I'm getting better. Completely cheater. No, it's like slowly worse and worse. Okay, temporarily, today and also tomorrow is okay. And this one just temporarism. Anyway, it's an old age situation, the body element exhausting, worse and worse. And they never is like getting better, come back same as the before. And like this, we have to like a struggle with all our the movement, absolutely. And when we are young, I mean, it's your age, you can to jump, you can to run, and you can to dance, you can do whatever you want. For example, some in the certain old ages, forget it dance, forget it jump, forget it to run. Even it's very difficult to work, move inside. And to get up, so difficult, we need to use 4 limbs. And once you get up, you need to sit. Also, it's very difficult. There is a kind of just Malaripa's quotation is coming. Then it's like the working and sitting, which have to become almost an impossible task. This kind of necessary things, very difficult. Then there is the example is like just Malaripa's quotation. When you are like standing yourself up, as if pulling a pitch from the ground, and like kind of sometimes we like a pitch to put in the ground, hard ground. Then you need to take out. It's quite difficult. And all the people to get up like this, you need to put 4 limbs. And then it's backbone is losing the strength to get very slowly. Maybe sometimes young people laughing. They do not to laugh. There is one Patrul Rinpoche's book, and kind of the inside argumentation. One young guy and old and people, they met in the middle. And the younger ones very fresh and sexy and very much kind of energetic. And he saw the one old people and the guy and is coming, is shaking, and his head is completely white. And then he carry very long stick, and he's coming to is laughing. Why you are carrying stick? There's no dangerous dog or it's animals. Don't worry. Get rid your sticks. Why you are wearing, white hat? It's not the kind of the winter times. There's no cold. Why you are dancing? And no necessary. Here's nothing music. And then the old guys is to like to clean eye to look. Silly guys. You kind of the teasing old guys. But when I was young, I'm better than the youth. But this is the situation of the old age. When it's like a kind of the fresh eye, when I have had a good body, everything same, your age, I'm maybe better than you. Do not criticize it. Like this, sometimes old people to get up is very difficult. And second is like you crap along as the door, you wear the like kind of the stocking birds. Like this is means is like children's. I don't know here, but in Tibet you have some tap, and they saw children's to slowly to like catch the birds, and then if you run, the birds is flying, and like this when you go in very slowly, and this kind of like stalking birds looks like your crap is like this kind of. And also third one is you sit down like a sack, big dropped. And this kind of if you are hanging, there is one heavy sack, 100 kilo. If you are like certainly cut the rope. Of course, this sack is falling, bang, like this. Of course, many old people, when sit, is of course they falling down. Their bottoms pain very much, but their feet cannot sustain holding, and then it's feeling like dopped. And when these kind of three things come together, and then it's a grandniece, grandfather, like this kind of situations, it's like kind of such old age sufferings. You are the sad old woman, these illusory bodies waiting away. And kind of like when you look, some is I don't know, but particularly maybe it's like lonely, no parent, no children, and maybe someone's like very difficult situations occurring, and like old, sometimes a person, he says like a grandma or something, and this kind of situation is like very, very much kind of the mind is sad, and like kind of, how do you say, offended, or it's like a kind of very much hurting, like depressed or something. It's like wasting away. And this one, how it's happened? One is from the outside, your skin hang in a wrinkle. A wrinkle is like become everything is, even that this is coming down. And one student says, can you use the screen here to put like this? Why? Because this will be loose, and slowly his eyes come like this, and the brain is become very ugly, and all these things, but still, I'm okay, no problem. And like this. Then it's like kind of everything's hanging and very much ugly. But what can we do this kind of situation? And also second, from the inside, like kind of the protrude. Yeah, protrude and bones. I mean, it's like protrude. Can you say the properly pronounce it? But like kind of your inner, kind of the, like you become the thinner. Many old people, I mean, it's too fat, it's not good, but sometimes become very thinner, or this bone become like this. Everywhere is like kind of protrude. Bones, there are flesh and blood half. Also it's like a bone, but also sometimes it's when we become the old age, then everywhere is a horn is coming. Naturally grow up. It's unbelievable, like a kind of old tree. And the tree in between you are the stupid, deaf, blind, and dazed. And it's this perspective, of course, mentally it's become very stupid, and absolutely, and also it's like kind of the ears very difficult to hear, difficult to hear, deaf, difficult to talk, blind, very difficult to see, and it's also there is a kind of the body's figure is lost. All the time it's like this, cannot to properly days, and when these three things are come together, oh grandpa, so it comes, and then is the face from with ugly wrinkles, like some is old people all the time is showing the anger face like this, but it's they're not, because it's like all the rings full of your kind of face. What can they do? Do not be near anger. They don't showing you the like kind of how to say front faces the from or from. and like kind of the showing ugly feet, anger feet. But this is like kind of the result of the ugly, or it's like kind of the ring status. And that one is what happened. Your clothes are the rag and heavy. And it's like a kind of whatever you're wearing is really is like same as the before this describes. Body figures go away. It's a very difficult kind of carrying. Second is your food and drink is like kind of the insipid, how do you say it? Insipid or insipid? Insipid. It's no taste anymore, and also it's like not very much. Also, it's like a kind of the appetite. It's cold easily. And 3-1 is like you sit on your mode, like a mode popped up with the seconds on 4 side. And this is like kind of latest explanation, this quotation, okay? Patrul Rinpoche. But like kind of in order to get up, you put 4 like kind of cautions, like all your directions. It's like kind of you're difficult to sit purple, like kind of falling down when you need to get up or something. When these kind of 3 things come together, oh grand power, what happens? You are like the realized yogi beings trampled by the men and dogs. And that moment, it is like kind of, you are looks like a kind of, great yogis. You looks like realize that great equanimity of the taste or any. Whatever they give, you are eating. Just it's not very much. You have distinctions, and someone's coming across, and in the sitting on the front of the door, it's like whatever they do. It's like a kind of how do you say it? Lost kind of the interest in this life. This kind of situations. Now it's like a more explanation about these quotations. Maybe it's wonderful. In old age, how it is occurring. When we want to like stand up, we cannot do it. Normally, all in one movement, we have to put both hands on the floor. You can say it's like maybe put both, maybe when it says the 4 limbs to put on the floor. Of course, leg, but also need to help by hand. And put both hands. As though we were trying to pull like a page out of the hard earth. This is the first sentences, the explanations. When we are working, we are stay bent over at the waist and cannot raise properly. And someone's like natural on the backbone. It's like kind of the slowly bent. You cannot to be properly. And rise our head. And being unable to pick up and put down our feet very quickly. We crap along like kind of the dangerously, like a child stalking a bird. It's like kind of we need to do something. As I said, to run or it's something. It's impossible. Cannot dance, cannot jumping, cannot to run. Very slowly creep along. It is like kind of the children's when they want to catch birds, very slowly like this. The old age is not want to very ugly way the working, but they no choice like this. All the joint in our arms and leg are so athletic that we cannot sit down gradually. Kind of the athletic is the sickness of the liquid. because it's like sometimes it's under our legs, particularly when we become the old age, it's like all the time constantly to pain. And then it's like sometimes we drink, take medicine for the feet. And then certainly in this joy in the knee, kind of the swallow. And then it's like very difficult. This is like kind of athletic sickness there. Cannot sit down like how it is. Like kind of already said, the sack is falling down. Gradually, instead, we let our whole weight crash down at one, like the gunny sack. Gunny sack means it's like kind of big sack made by the grass. You put inside like the barley or wheat, and then you add honey, and then certainly you can to kind of cut the rope. It's falling bums like this. When we have athletic sickness on the feet, and when we want to sit down, it's like this. The gunny sack is falling down. This kind of situation, as it's like kind of the sling breaks, and this kind of situations occurring. As our flesh wastes away, our skin become lax, and our bodies and face are covered in wrinkles. And it's like all is like a skin, and inside the strength of the muscles is losing, and all the inside, maybe sometimes particularly some strong men, guys, it is like a very big person, and the bone is very strong, and then muscle inside the meat, and the like kind of skins like become old age. All this is coming out, and very ugly. Everywhere you can to see this bone, that bone, this bone, fingers going, these fingers going like up, down, and like this. Then what can in the everywhere hold the body is a ring. You know, these modern some I don't know man, the better ladies to cut here to tidy up, and cut here, tidy up, but sometimes become very ugly. And like this, full of the wrinkle. Wrinkles is never make the beautiful. But when we become old, it's like kind of the mushroom. Mushroom become old age. How we can to make fresh is very difficult. Better to put in the nice fire and put butter and to eat. And like kind of covered ring. And that time is sad and disappointment. And it's a lot of the mind occurring, but this is like kind of the old age. With lesser flesh and blood around them, all our joys become more permanent, and the permanent, it's coming out, permanent, and permanent, you know this one, like kind of the cheekbone, and all our other boning protuberance. Protuberance is difficult. Protuberance. I think it's protuberance. Can you say? Protuberance, stick out under the skin. And like a kind of the boning, and like kind of everything's out. Like animals is a very, very much sometimes a horse like this, particularly in the buttons, bones you see. It's very, and many old age people become like this, you know. And that situations is like not very beautiful. Even young people to touch the old people, very scary. But of course, they don't want to become like this. But what we can do, one day we have this kind of experience. We should to concerning right now. What we need to think now, Whoever has experienced old age sufferings, we need compassion to them. We need to take care through your compassion. Also, maybe it's before we become in these situations to hurry up to practice Dharma. Maybe it's like if you study Dharma, if these situations occur, very easily tolerant, very easily control. I met many old Dharma practitioners, really wonderful. They are old, but they are smiling. They are very much cheerful. They are very much kind of the peace atmosphere. And it's like kind of, you say, how are you? You are now quite old. Yeah, old. This is nice. It's just, this is normal. And they are not very much disappointment. They are not very much sad. Some is like not really Dharma practitioners, not maybe much learn. So if you go to old age, all the times complain, all the times not very happy, and everything's a complaint. How are you? Yes. And then it's inside expecting getting better and better. It's impossible to get in better. Then even that there's like announcement you are going to die, then stay expecting that. Then there's different situations. If you study, if you analyze, if you investigate, you understood that one, very easily to deal, very easily to control. If you never ever to analyze, you never concern these kind of situations, certainly it's like coming on you as yourself is very much kind of become more sad. And also you don't understand your family to others. Maybe you are hurting, you are teasing, you are like kind of mocking, and also it's like you're making sad and suffering to others. Therefore we come to say, our memory decline and we become dull white. And it's okay, still we have. And deaf and blind, we cannot think clearly, and we feel giddy. It is like kind of you can't to see like what it is. Some people say who you are, very much near, but someone says, are you my grandchildren, or who are you? Says, I'm your grandchildren from Canada. Says, yeah, very nice. This is my wife, this is Jimmy, this is the artist. Yeah, very nice. Come inside. But not clearly to see. You know, it's like the gaddy or like feel is like kind of don't know it, but grandchildren arrive, they don't recognize. And like this kind of situations, what you can do? Maybe some young like become angry. This old guys is like kind of ignored to me. They're not ignored, but who is this person? They can't to see the situations. With the decline of our physical vigor, there is little reason for us to want to look our best. Of course, it's like, and so the clothes we wear are away the heavy and ragged. Of course, sometimes it's like they have very much inside like a heavy, beautiful, expensive cloth. They want to wear. But physical figure is a lost vigor and no strength. They cannot to wear anymore. And like then it's like they lost this kind of the appetite. And also it's like the whatever we are wearing, our bodies become very much sensitive. And also whatever we are wearing looks like heavy and ragged. And it's like kind of very rough. Even the Kashmiri is become the very ragged. And also when we eat leftover, this leftover means maybe it's like a kind of negative families. Probably they can give leftover things to the grandparents. Many you can to look in the YouTubes. Some is bad. I want to say is, for example, when you have, maybe you have a daughter, maybe you have the son, and maybe it's like maybe you have only one child. There is like history, and one lady, she has two child, one son, one is the daughter. And I want to change, okay, this one. But it's like really you can to look in the YouTube, and then it's like it's really is a film. I want to go back to the India. Really, one is a film they made, you can to see. And one guy, he has one son. And very poor, of course, he's a refugee. And then it's like something, his wife is passed away or something happened. Then, of course, he needs to look after his son. And he sent him to Soko. He's carrying the firewood. He's selling and save money, and then is working and working. And then it's like he save money and he give to the class for the cost of his son's school. And then his son's a little bit getting better, getting, how to say, too much, maybe after the university finish it. And one day he has a chance to go to some in abroad, America or Europe. And he was very happy. And whatever he collected, he gave this money to some agency. My sons maybe can't possible to go to abroad. Maybe you can help. Then one lady, she helped. Of course, he gave all money to them. And then his sons got the visa or something and went. Then it's after he's very happy now. My sons may be good. Maybe he will come back. Maybe it's good. And then he's like relaxed, but he's living on the absolutely broken shutter. And then he's like kind of almost like homeless dog. But he's living there almost more than 20 years he's waiting. And nothing, no news, what happened. And then it's like one day he heard his son's name is come back, but some in the New Delhi or something is like a very high business. But he thought it's like maybe it's possible. If he come back or something, he should contact me. And one day he's like kind of went to see, and his son's house he visited. And then it's like he says, who is this person who is living there? They said it's this kind of person. Huh? And then he's in like hiding, he's looking, and one very smart and guys coming out and quite business, but really his son. And he's like with someone, and he went to front, oh my darling, are you come back? And I waiting many years. He looked at his father, said, who you are? And I don't understand. Said, I'm your father. What? I haven't got my father. My father's already gone or something. Said, no, I stay alive. He said, no, and he's ordered to this, some is like his server say, kick out these guys. And then he was very much sad, he's come back. And then it's like one day he went to there and waiting outside the front of the door. And his wife is coming front of the door, and he said, hey ladies. And she said, yes, do you need food? And he's very much like a dirty cloth, and he's very much, of course he need food. Yes, if you can give me food, I'm very happy, I'm hungry. And she said, yes, come inside. And she invited inside, and then she give nice food. What happened? You are like this. And then he said, where did you meet your husband? Oh, we met in the America or Europe, and my husband is very successful, and quite now we have very good business, and they are like palace inside the very expensive sofa, everything. And then this slowly this guy said this, yeah, today he didn't recognize me, I'm his father. And he said, are you joking? Oh yes. And then he taught, like everything is how to spend. I send like this, I take care of him. But yesterday I met in the front of your daughter, but he ignored it to me. Maybe he's, huh? And she was so sad. Okay, you can sit there, and she give to nice room, and sit there. And then it's like she's hiding. And then he's come back with the many business, and she serves also house yours. And then all the other business went back. And then he said, do you have your family? He said, no, I haven't got any family. I told you before. My mother's died, my father's something died. He said, no. Are you sure? Yes. And then he was a little bit doubt, maybe because my father, he taught to some. And maybe you met someone. I'm not sure, but there are some of your fathers existing. No, not like this. And then it's like he doesn't to accept it. He's very angry, and he couldn't say. And then is later after she said, go, but I will teach slowly I will test. And then is like one day, and she said, I need one slave. Outside there is a very like a beggar guy. He's begging, maybe he can to do something. May I have this guy and to clean to something? Said, who is this? I don't know. And I have a little bit of compassion. Please, darling, could you accept it? And he thought it's like maybe it's not. He don't recognize. Okay. But he was very, very angry. And then it's like he, in the evening, during the day he work, in the evening he go back to his dog house, crying there. And then it's like he come back, work, and he need to run other house. And his sons go out, and then his daughter-in-law say, come, let's eat, normal, grandpa. And say like this. Then one day, she said, you cannot to hiding like this anymore. You are a very ugly guy. This is your father's. And he said, no, not my father's. And then it's like he put in the room, locked. This is very strange guide. And you need to sleep there. Don't never come back, something. And then he's writing, like kind of down, how I look after you, how I can to give you, how many years I waiting you. Now you are like this situation. It's your wife take care, but you don't. Why you are? You are my son. And he forgot it, lock inside. And one day he died. And then after day he says like, maybe now I want to talk. And wives still complain, you are not embarrassed. And then he's open, father is already gone, days later. And sometimes these kind of situations occurring, Your own children sometimes insult, give leftover food, and nothing. There is another one, is really situations. They like kind of your daughter-in-law or the son-in-law, and they is like children, they eat together. Grandparents put in the corner, and the leftover things to give to them, and most delicious and things they eat separately. And this kind of happened, very, very sad things. One day probably we can to occur that moment. What can we do? This is the result of the old age. We need to eat leftover. Okay? One day surely is have no sense of the taste. All the food of the eat is cold and insipid, inspired, or the insipid. Insipid. Okay, I don't want to say that again. And also is that we feel so heavy that it is difficult to do anything. We drop ourselves up in the bed on all our side and cannot get up. And because it's like we put two different cushions and like kind of how to get up. And it's not easily to get up. With 4 directions, there's something support, and like kind of to put them is like easily, like kind of the falling down. And sometimes like we are the baby, it's when we become the old age, and like kind of even that we get up from the bed, there's something sticks. We need to kind of the supporter. And like this kind of situations, I think we become very sad, old age sufferings. And maybe if now presently someone's occurring, we need to compassion them, we need to more caring to them. Surely we will, if luckily we become like these situations, and if someone's to more care, if we become like someone's not caring, give us leftover, and we cannot find, we cannot do nothing, I think we will become very, very sad. This is old age sufferings. By that point, our physical deterioration has brought us like depression and terrible mental kind of the different sufferings. Absolutely. And what can we do at that moment? We want to become more fresh, more young, more healthy, but impossible, because it's like chasing by the old age, and we become more and more collapsed, and all this like beauty and brightness and like shining, this face has faded away. Our skin is covered in the wrinkles, and our like kind of the forehead is the full of the rings, are the lined with the ugly wrong frown of the ill humors. And this is the frown, means it's like ugly kind of the showing the face. And there is one person is like kind of says 150 years old. Say, I better to don't stay like this. Face is absolutely, it's like ugly, but they of course don't want to become like this. We can to look at the old peoples, how much is like face strange. But those are don't want to become this is like a result of old age. Sometimes we have like this, yeah, why not? When they become, we don't care. So now it's like very much not concerning. Okay, it's like no need to, we are not yet there. So of course you are not yet there. If you do not concern it, maybe you do not understand old age situation. If you're not concerning, when you become these situations, very difficult to kind of to be tolerant, and this situation unacceptable. It is like kind of some people so much depressed, so much anxieties, the old age sufferings. They want to hang it, they want to kill. They want to do like this. For example, in the history, in the Western histories, one person, he did something, young times did something, and then he need to go to prisoner, maybe 20, 30 years, the punishment. And then they stayed there, and then afterwards, one day, and the prisoner, guardians, they say, now you are freedom, where would you like to go? And he's thinking, he called, he's checking someone can pick up me. Nobody's there is. And then it's like he come back, his home. Nobody's. Most of his families died. Nobody's like his friends. 20, 30 years almost universals changed around. Nobody's. And then he's already old and not much taste. He's free. And first time he's wearing nice uniform and kind of to make nice, clean. But he said, what I need to do? Now I need to make new friend. Maybe it's difficult to get. All my like a good close friend, families is gone, no meeting. What is my life? After day, he hung in his room. And like this, kind of like old age situations, like a kind of very much it's a suffering. And particularly like this kind of face is coming. And also everybody scorn us. And even if the people are the stepping over and head. And maybe it is like in the European, in our Westerns, not very much. We are living in the rooms, and sometimes in the nomad. Some you have only in the tent. In Tibet, it's true. It's this more is Tibetan. Some old people is all the time sleep on the corner, and sometimes they like kind of the way of they are going is that the young people need to run and something to do, and these old people like to try to get up. Very take times they jumping over, and it's like this kind of doing. We cannot get up. We no longer a reactor. It is as we well realize that yogis for whom clean and unclean no longer existence. And it's like kind of become the careless, hopeless, depressed. And anyway, it's like maybe if you are healthy, you strong, you say, okay, don't need to do me like this. I can do everything myself. Run to in the kitchen to make nice. We don't need to eat leftover. We don't need to someone go over. We don't need to waiting someone step on the head, on the body. And nobody's need to scorn us. We can also to scorn to them. Why not? But when is old age attack to us, then is our strength is absolutely lost. And like this, unable to bear the sufferings of the old age, very, very difficult, but we need to bear. And difficult to bear, we need to bear about that. We want to die, but it's difficult. Many old people say, oh, better to die. And now it's like everything's like uncomfortable. I would like to die. But of course, even they are inside the fear, inside the panic. They have like kind of the death. But it's like a stay, it's not. For example, often I say, I don't want to become more than the 80 or years. I don't know I will sit or not. Become the 80, 90 years or what? There's a kind of, it's like kind of the, some in the perspective, it's better to say bye-bye this word. It's like this kind of, and we want to die. But in the fact, the closer we come to death, we are more terrified, more like aware of it. Absolutely. Death is like, doesn't matter old age or sick person, is very much afraid. And like look, someone's a long time sick, and then his death process starts, still says, I'm afraid for my death. Can you give me medicine? I cannot to die. But the body is already collapsed, and better to die. The but is like still death is afraid. This kind of situations occurring. And like this, all this makes the suffering that we have to undergo in old age not very different from the torments of the being in the lower realms. And when occurring this kind of old age situations, almost the same as the lower realms sentient beings, we should to taking care, do not touch the computers, and then it's also disappeared, okay? And it's like this. Then now it's like maybe stop. They're touching all the time computer. I want to stop there is. And we need to rest, okay? And now it's, okay, we can to start 11:30. 11:30, 11:30, 11:30, 11:30. Don't become old age.